And hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Threes on Fire show. John, Jesus, where the hell is John at? I have no idea where he is. Hopefully, his GPS will let us know at some point. Um, Welcome to today's show. I'm Irving Henderson. That's Del Boyd. Before we actually get into all of the stuff that we want to talk about today, I want to mention that today the Philadelphia Phillies beat the team from up there. 6-4. They actually came back. They were down 4-0. They came back and won. They dropped their magic number to clinch the National League East to 7 games. Also, they move up to a game and a half in front of the Dodgers for the best record in the National League. As we talked about on the previous show, the top 2 teams in the National League get bye straight to the division series. The Phillies won the season series over the Dodgers. So in case of a tie, the Phillies have the edge. So even though the Phillies could possibly end up 1 game up, depending on what happens to the Dodgers later, in essence, it's like being 2 games up because you have a game in hand over the team that's behind you. And boy, they needed that because Friday night, Aaron Nola got bombed. Phillies lost 11-3. I was out just like, this is September and Aaron Nola does the same old Aaron Nola September bullshit. And when you don't have your top level guys going in this series where you really want to get them out of here, you want to establish like, listen, we're better than you. We have 6 games left against you. We need to take these games to keep our foot on your neck. You cannot have that type of performance. So good win for the Phils this afternoon. But let's get into the conversation, and we're going to talk about football. And it's not good news. It's not good news at all. If you are a football fan, period, point blank, I don't care if you're a fan of this team or not. Quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, suffered a concussion during the Dolphins' 31-10 loss to the Bills Thursday night. Tua was scrambling for a first down. He lowered his head towards Bills defensive back Damar Hamlin, and he went into a fencing posture while he was down on the turf. I'm not saying it to be crass. It's just the thing where it looks like he's throwing up gang signs. That's the fencing posture where your body just tenses up and your fingers, you lose control of your fingers. Tua was able to get up. He was able to walk off the field on his own, but this was his 3rd concussion in the last 2 years. The first 2 came within days of each other in 2022. Ironically, the first occurred against the Bills as well. He was showing clear signs of having a concussion in that game. He went to the ground, he grabbed at his head, and they diagnosed him with a back injury. And he came back and he finished the game. And then 4 days later, he played against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. He had his head slammed into the turf. He did the fencing thing again. I know that the rules have changed on how hard you can hit quarterbacks and just hitting in general. And that the NFL is a lot safer than it used to be, but football is still a violent sport, right?
Yeah.
Is it too soon for us to start talking about Tua retiring? Or, I mean, should that be in the conversation right now?
Well, from the outside looking in, I don't think it's really safe for him to continue playing. But he's an adult, man, and he signed a contract, man. If he want to play, you gotta let him play as long as he passes the protocol procedures. If I'm the owner of the team and the GM, I'm too concerned because we invested in all this money. So if I was in that position, then I'm like, well, nah, at some point soon we might be looking at cutting you or, some kind of thing like that. Like team imposed retirement. I don't know what to call it, but
it could come down to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, if I was the ownership, I would be like, listen, man, somebody else might let you play for him, but I'm not gonna continue to let you play for me.
Yeah, and here's the thing to that. Two of the best quarterbacks of the '90s, Troy Aikman and Steve Young.
Yep.
Both of them had their careers ended because of concussions.
Yeah.
Steve Young got hit. I think it was Aeneas Williams put an end to his career, and it was I think LeVar Arrington hit Aikman and ended his career in 2000. And Aikman got a concussion in the first game of the 2000 season against the Eagles, and he had to miss time. The thought process on concussions is different now. It used to be, oh, you got your bell rung, you go back in if you can play. Now we take these things a lot more seriously now, and I kind of agree to the extent with you of saying, yeah, Tua's a grown ass man. He deserves the right to make that decision for himself. But I also think sometimes you got to take that decision out of guys' hands. This is twice. He didn't just have a concussion, but he had that neurological reaction to it on national TV on Thursday Night Football. I mean, that can't look good for the league. That can't look good for the Dolphins. It can't look good in general. And he's probably going to come back and play this year. I mean, football players are competitors by nature.
Pretty sure he'll be back this year.
Is it worth it? Is it worth the risk? Is it really worth the risk, especially when we know about how real CTE is? And this man has had 3 major concussions in the last 2 years.
Right. I mean, it's tough, man. It's a tough one. And for looking out for his safety and his health long term, like I said, if I'm in charge of the team, I'm trying to pull him. But
yeah,
like I said, man, he's an adult, man. Like it's a tough thing, man.
I don't know if I let him suit up again this year. I don't know if I do it. I don't, and even if I do, like it's the middle of September. I don't think he can play until November, if he plays at all.
I'll say this. You give him one more chance, just one more.
Okay, all right, and they might be carting his ass out on a damn stretcher. Like then what do you tell a defensive player? You're not going to tell your defense to pull off, and when you got a chance to hit him, you're going to hit him.
Yeah, I'm telling them blast him.
I mean, but that's the way the game is played. Like if anybody hears that and thinks, "Oh, that's terrible," that's the way the game is played. Our job is to hit you, not to hurt you, but we're going to hit you hard. You're going to feel something when you have that ball in your hand. So I listen, if you're asking me,
I'm not even going to sugarcoat it like that. I am hitting you to hurt you, not to injure you, but to hurt you, because I want you to feel I want you to be I want you to be hesitant of doing that again, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're gonna get some pain over here.
We gotta
you're gonna get some pain over here. I'm not trying to snuff you out. I just want you to understand when you come over here, you leaving with something.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make you think twice to come over here again.
Soft on them now.
No. I coach football. We tell our kids all the time, you hit to hit through somebody.
Yeah.
It's not with the intention of trying to, do something to injure somebody. Right. But you want that person to think twice next time they have the ball in their hand.
It's imposing your will. That's what it is. It's imposing your will.
Personally, Tua should not suit up again this season at all.
I don't think he should, but like I said, I mean, if we're going to try to give it one more shot.
Yeah. Well, expect to see him in about a month or so, just because that's just how it is. That's just how football players are wired. He's going to play again. But speaking of guys who are going to miss about a month, 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey, a late scratch for San Fran's Monday Night Football game against the Jets. Didn't matter. Backup running back Jordan Mason filled in with a 28 carry, 147 yard and 1 touchdown performance in the 49ers 32-19 win. McCaffrey was placed on IR with injuries to his calf and Achilles and is not expected to return to the lineup until mid-October. Now, it wasn't a big deal to the 49ers this week, but it was a huge deal on 2 separate fronts because, first of all, in his post-game interview with Lisa Salters, Jordan Mason revealed that he knew he was going to start the Jets game on Friday. The 49ers never officially changed McCaffrey's injury designation. Now, in the week leading up to the game, he was listed as questionable. Now, questionable means that it's possible that a player is going to play. The more serious designation is doubtful, which means the player is not likely to play. And if you want to know what that looks like, Jordan Love this week for the Packers is listed as doubtful. He's not listed as out or questionable. He's listed as doubtful. The 49ers could be in some trouble with the league because teams are not allowed to falsify a player's injury status. On the other hand, we play fantasy football. McCaffrey was the first pick taken off the board in, I'll say, 90% of fantasy football drafts. Now, you could have been in a league. Yeah. You could have been in a league that had week 1 games coming down to the wire, and his injury could have swung games in the opposite direction. Like, can you imagine not being able to get to your roster in time? Like, because you just couldn't get to your phone and you hear this and you can't pick Mason up. And that would have happened to me in one of my leagues because I actually got the first pick in one of my drafts. And I took McCaffrey like everybody else.
Yeah.
If I didn't get that ESPN alert, or if I didn't get a text message, and by the way, Chad, I'm sending you a shout out, buddy. I hope things get a little better for you. I know it's been a little rough for you these last couple of weeks. I appreciate you texting me and letting me know what was going on because I was able to pick Mason up and just get rid of somebody that I had on my bench. And Mason won the week for me, right? Or what if some asshole just decided to drop their backup to grab Mason so you couldn't? Like, now what? Like, I mean, this is why they say, I mean, I know it's a lot because of gambling purposes that the league has these injury designations as well, but it's also to give the other teams an idea of what they're prepping for during the week. So I get that.
Yeah.
But for the 49ers to know all week long that the likelihood was he wasn't going to play and not report it, that's crazy. That's crazy. You got to report that. You got to let it be known, especially if this guy comes out and says, well, I knew I was going to start. Now, here's my question. Here's my question. Assuming that Mason continues to play like this in McCaffrey's absence, what do the 49ers do then? What do you do then? Like, I mean, do you take this guy and put him back on the bench if he's the hot hand, or do you ride the hot hand and now McCaffrey's coming off the bench more like a spot duty kind of guy or in certain packages? Like, what do you do in that situation? What should the 49ers do should Jordan Mason continue to play this well?
It all comes down to how Christian McCaffrey looks coming back. I mean, well, the other part of it is the severity of the injury. So, what do we know? Is it a tear going on or something? Like, or are they still calling this like a calf strain?
Well, it's being ruled as a strain. It's not being ruled as a tear or anything because a tear, you're out longer than 4 weeks with a tear. I don't care what you tear. That's going to be longer than 4 weeks. But
I was saying that because you remember when let's go to when KD tore his Achilles, right? and it started off as a calf strain. You know what I'm saying? So, like, is this a calf strain that could be a tear down the line? Like, is that the projection for that injury, or will he be healed up to where it's like there's no doubt that, like, all right, he'll be cool to go? You get what I'm saying? If he's cool to go, and there's no real risk of, I mean, other than the obvious risk, but you're saying basically it's as healthy as it's gonna be, it's not gonna tear more than likely. Then you return Christian McCaffrey probably in a 50-50 split until you're really sure, maybe for a game. And then the next game, hey, old boy got to go back to the bench, man.
We're talking about a running back with a leg injury. We're talking about a running back with a leg injury and a guy who his MO is the volume of work that he gets. And the issue with McCaffrey, even when he was a Panther, was that he couldn't stay on the field. That's one of the main reasons why they were like, you know what?
I knew this was coming.
We'll get what we can get. And no, this is not a shot. We're just talking honestly. He couldn't stay healthy.
No, man, he
couldn't stay healthy.
No, I'm gonna tell you what that was, man.
Go ahead.
Man, we shutting them down because it ain't no point of getting them injured for real for the rest of the season. They had this man sitting out whole seasons over an ankle sprain. Let's be real. Like, come on, man. Nah.
But he's got that stigma of being injury prone.
That's because we held him out so long over minor injuries. How come for what? The past 2 years he didn't miss a game at all.
Good point.
But he injury prone. I'm not trying to hear that.
He's out now
because we sat McCaffrey out because we was trotting teams out similar to the team we got this year and last year. They were so sorry that why risk your franchise player, a running back, behind a sorry ass line and with no quarterback and no weapons. We know he's going to get killed. So instead of running him into the dirt, they sat him down every time he got nicked up any little bit and said, fuck it, we chalking it.
As they should have.
As they should have. I mean, and, it turned out to be a good thing when they got for him as far as trade value. But now moving on to the 49ers, they're in position to try to contend for a championship. So, like I said, bring them back slowly and, like, basically slowly phase out Mason. And, you play week by week. Basically, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would do.
Now on to something that you said as far as what his injury is. Your calf and your Achilles are in the same vicinity of each other. So you need both of those in tandem when it comes to running, which is exactly what happened with KD.
Right.
And it's like the cutting, the way that a running back in the NFL has to move, that's a very, very bad injury to have. So even if he comes back, like a 75% healthy Christian McCaffrey is not going to be very effective. So
no.
What do you do here?
On that.
You beg to differ?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear this one.
Come on, man. We talking about C-Mac here. 75% of him is still better than the league average.
Not 75% with an Achilles injury. Like we talking 75% just based off of, the normal hits and wear and tear that a back takes. That's one thing. We talking about a guy with two leg injuries. He's got a calf and Achilles injury both at the same time. That's not 75% with that is not good.
Well, all right. Well, when you phrase it like that, then no, it's not good because at any given moment, you're scared it's gonna snap.
Yep.
So,
and I think just like we talked about with Tua, this guy's gonna get out there and you want pins and needles with every hit that he takes because the next hit could be the one again where he's getting carted off. And at this stage,
I'm more afraid of the injury happening either one trying to go up the middle and you got to use power, or two, he breaking out and in the open field and he tries to make that cut, that sudden cut, and it just pops on you. Like I said, phase them in slowly. That's the way I would try to go with it.
Right. Well, I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to bring him back slowly. They're going to let Mason carry the load until McCaffrey shows that he's closer to 100%, and then it'll go in the opposite direction. And McCaffrey will get the workload, and Mason will go back to the bench.
Yeah.
All right, one other injury note. Chiefs wide receiver Hollywood Brown now is expected to miss the entire regular season after he suffered a shoulder injury in Kansas City's first preseason game against the Jaguars. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs have a plethora of wide receivers that they can just plug in that spot. Yeah. I mean, they can just plug anybody in there. And that's what they're going to do.
It ain't even that, man. This boy Worthy, that first play when he had that handoff, and then he came around, and then everybody looked like they was running in mud or sand. And he was just going the same way we used to seeing Tyreek do that. You got a chance for them to have Tyreek 2.0 or the second coming.
I want to know who is in that scouting room with Andy Reid, because from Deshaun Jackson, right? He finds these speedy receivers. Now, he's not running the same kind of offense. He's not running the same kind of offense that he ran in Philly. Like there's a lot of different variations of plays that they do. And to be honest with you, as an Eagles fan, I wish that he was doing this kind of shit when we had McNabb back there and he wasn't. But he's never gone out and gotten those big guys. Go ahead.
He couldn't do it with McNabb because McNabb couldn't make the throws that Patrick Mahomes could make.
Which throws we talking about here?
Man, we talking about the accuracy, first of all, on the short throws. You know, Donovan used to hum the shit out of them bitches.
He had some worm burners. Yeah, he had a lot of worm burners.
It's like, yo, take some off of those passes, you know? And even the on the move runs, like I mean, the throwing on the move, he can't. McNabb, he have to actually stop, get set, and throw. Patrick Mahomes could be running in a sprint, slow down just a little bit, and boom, still deliver with touch. Like McNabb just couldn't do some of the things arm wise that
Mahomes, well, I don't think there's any quarterback that can do what Mahomes does. No, none.
One.
Who?
One. Back when Aaron Rodgers was younger, he could do that.
Not the way Mahomes do it. It's not the same. Listen, I know Rodgers had his moments. Favre had his moment. Listen, I'm not forgetting about the younger Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers had his moments. Favre had some moments like that throwing on the run. Randall Cunningham had moments like that throwing on the run, right? Those guys consistently cannot do what Patrick Mahomes does.
I believe Rodgers. But the difference between Rodgers and Mahomes is Mahomes is he just like when he actually takes off to actually just run the ball and run, he can do that more than Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Like he's for some reason fast, kinda like deceptively for as chunky as he looked. So that's like kind of odd, and he does do things like I will say to agree with your point, like some of those like sidearm and underhanded type of things that he could flip, like he does do that, and I don't think Rodgers could do that. But as far as just being able to still run and stick like on the move, I think Rodgers can make all those on every different level, from deep, mid, wide, and short too, and even coming across his body.
Yeah, see, Randall was good at that, throwing deep. Like
Yeah, I see
Randall could
a lot of
roll out the
people.
pocket and just still running and just hum it all the way down the field. Like
Yeah, it's been
that
quite a
was
few guys.
crazy.
It's been quite a few guys that could do that because Vic was like that too, where he
Mm-hmm.
could just run and then boom, hum the deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say Elway could do that too.
Elway could do that, yep.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, Mahomes throwing it short, the short and intermediate routes, even being on the run, is something that, like, yeah, I've never seen that before.
yeah, like I said, I think Rodgers is the only other person that I think could kind of pull that off.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so I mean, I didn't mean to take you away from your point, your train of thought, but I
No,
had to
no,
stop
no,
you
no,
right
no. We
there
good.
because it's just the difference between arm talent between Mahomes and McNabb that's like
Yeah,
substantially different.
yeah. I listen. I get that point, but my whole thing is, I'm not talking about with the way that Mahomes can throw and McNabb can throw, just in that aspect of things. I'm just talking about the offense itself. Period. It's a much different Kansas City offense under Andy Reid than what he did when he was here. Like he's way more innovative right now. Way
That's true.
more
You
innovative.
know, the
He
other part to
finds
that,
ways to get playmakers the ball.
right? Part two to that is the receivers. Early
Mm-hmm.
on, I don't know what was going on with the receiver scouting because we used to have, I said we, the Eagles used to have dudes
Mm-hmm.
like James Trash and Freddie Mitchell and Todd
Todd
Kingston.
Pinkston,
I can't even think of what was the bull, the white bull. Ah man, what was it?
Kevin Curtis.
Curtis? Yeah, even
Mm-hmm.
though Curtis was kind of all right, he
Curtis
was
was all
like,
right.
you know. And it's like those players weren't dynamic enough though to run some
Mm-mm.
of the stuff either.
I know. I know. And
Certainly not the stuff.
that's my thing
Certainly
with the
not.
scouting.
Certainly not the stuff they was running, especially when they had like dudes like Tyreek. And
Mm-hmm.
now with Worthy, you're gonna see some of that open right back up. Because I think last year, or maybe, yeah, I think last year they ran pretty much kind of like the same offense that the Eagles used to because the receivers was so bad dropping the ball all year.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally,
Yep.
they finally turned up in the playoffs, but all year long it was a struggle. And it's like, yo, these receivers just ain't getting it. And that's
Yep.
kind of like reminds you of back in those McNabb days. The receivers
Mm-hmm.
themselves they couldn't even pull
And
off the plays.
I don't understand how you can have that mindset of, well, now I get it. In Kansas City, they don't really have what you would consider a number one receiver. The
Right.
number one receiver in Kansas City
It's
is
Kelsey.
Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
But Reed's era here, it's like, dog, who are you bringing in here? Who? Charles Johnson, Torrance Small, Nay Brown, Billy McMullen. Like, who are these dudes, man? Who are these dudes? Like,
And
and I didn't know, like other than,
T.O.
I mean, and I'm not gonna count. I'm not gonna count To on this because I was thinking about the draft. Other
Oh, okay.
than Deshaun Jackson, right?
Right.
What receiver did Andy Reid draft here that was like really good? Avant was okay.
Macklin.
Macklin was okay. That's it. That's it. Deshaun Jackson,
Macklin.
Jason Avant, and Jeremy Macklin. That
And all
is
those
it the entire time he was here.
and all those was down the line. That the bulk
Yep.
of that time, it was like I said, James trashing them. And then finally at the
Mm-hmm.
end, that's when he started drafting dudes like Macklin and Deshaun and Avant. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, Reggie Brown, even though he's the most mid receiver you can
Yo,
have.
I'm not even listen. I'm true confession here. I had a Reggie Brown jersey. I did.
Oh,
I had a
but
Reggie
I'll tell you
Brown
what though,
jersey.
Reggie Brown, he wasn't terrible. He just like I say, he's super mid. He's like old reliable, but nothing
Yep.
dynamic. Old
No,
reliable, but nothing dynamic.
and all of those guys fell off quickly. Hank Basket, done. Like
Um,
they had guys that could make plays occasionally.
yeah,
They'd be good for maybe 600 yards a season. But that wasn't because they were consistently really good. They just so happened to accumulate yards over the season. You didn't have anybody dynamic here. And Kevin Curtis is a whole nother different conversation. Yo, he was good. He was good when he was here. I'm not gonna say nothing negative about Kevin Curtis.
No, Kevin Curtis is kind of like he's kind of like the receivers they like to have now in the league. You know, those receivers that the Patriots made so famous.
Mm-hmm.
He's like in that same kind of similar build to those. That low slot receiver that got a little wiggle, get open, and then make some yak yards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
He was built in that mode.
He's and you see more of those guys now. You see more guys like that in the league. I think we saw it last year, Puka Nacua.
Right. Even though Puka's a bigger dude.
He's a bigger guy. Yeah. But and he's out. Another guy that's going to be out this week.
He is.
All right. Well, listen. We try not to always keep everything about sports when we talk on this show. We will have the 50 greatest movies of all time at some point as a show topic. But the other day I was on Twitter and I refused to call it X. I was on Twitter and I saw a post.
X with the stuff that be on it.
Man, rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole, man. You can go on there and go down whatever rabbit hole you want. Whatever it is that fuels your conspiracy theories or whatever it is that you believe in, you will find people that will give you what you need on Twitter. But I saw a post asking what the Mount Rushmore of cartoons is. Now, people cheat when it comes to this. And we're not going to cheat. Like, I'm tired of people. If we ask for a Mount Rushmore of this, it's only 4. You're only allowed to have 4. You can't grandfather something in and have somebody split something. It's just 4. All right. Now, I've had a couple of days to think about it, and this is harder than I thought it was going to be. A lot harder than I thought it was going to be because I would think of one cartoon and then another one would hit my mind. And then another one. And then another one. So what I want to do is I want to eliminate a certain type. I want to eliminate certain types of cartoons. One, I want to eliminate anime because anime is a whole nother rabbit hole that we'll go down talking about, right? So we're going to eliminate anime. Yeah. Also going to eliminate
anime is not cartoon.
Right. And we're also going to eliminate the primetime cartoons. So The Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. Futurama, you're not going to see Futurama. Yeah, you're not going to see those on this list either. We're talking traditional cartoons. Preferably Saturday morning cartoons or like your weekday cartoons, after school cartoons. That's what we're talking about here. Now, the first spot on my list, I think, is the easiest choice that I had to make. And I'm gonna combine both of them because they're all basically the same. Depends on what you want to call it. So the first spot goes to Looney Tunes Merry Melodies.
That's what I asked.
How nobody should argue this. We're not arguing against Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote, Foghorn Leghorn. We're not arguing that, okay? Right. You cannot come on here and say that spot is not solidified.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a cartoon franchise that's damn near 100 years old, and it's still relevant today.
Absolutely.
So, Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies, they get the first spot. And I think we both agreed on that, so now we have 3 spots left.
Right.
The second spot on my list is Tom and Jerry.
That made me just think of that, and I was like, how I didn't think of Tom and Jerry, because I actually didn't have that on there.
Yeah, now, Tom and Jerry is a personal favorite. Like, now, I'm talking about, I'm early in my adulthood, spending nights out, just wilding out, running the streets. But I always made time to be in the crib in front of my TV to watch Tom and Jerry at 2 a.m. on Cartoon Network. I had, like, it didn't matter where I was. Like if I was over at somebody else's crib, like it was because we all knew at 2 a.m. Tom
It's
and
that
Jerry
time.
is coming on.
Tom and
So
Jerry hour.
that's it. Like we not doing nothing else for that hour. What do you have on your list for that second spot?
I mean, I had Scooby Doo.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. And that's see, and I was wringing my hands about Scooby Doo. I was. Mm.
You know, what's
But
crazy though is, oh man, I might.
you see what I
This is
mean?
tough
You
now.
see what I
This is
mean?
tough
You see
now.
what I
When you
mean?
said Tom and Jerry, I was like, damn, how I forget about Tom and Jerry? And that's got to take precedence over Scooby Doo.
And that's how I felt about. Listen, how I just mentioned Tom and Jerry.
Yeah,
My first thought was Scooby Doo.
right.
Scooby Doo was the first thing that popped in my head because if you remember the picture I sent, it was a screenshot of Scooby Doo, and then it was like, all right, well, I wouldn't put Scooby Doo above Looney Tunes,
No.
but
Looney
then it
Tunes
was like,
was
all right, wait, Tom and Jerry. Oh, how I forget Tom and Jerry? So Tom and Jerry made the list, and I'm sorry, y'all, Scooby Doo does not make my list
and I didn't have
because
Tom and Jerry on my list. So what we gonna do?
now third on my list.
Go
Now I'm
ahead.
about to make a lot of old heads happy with this one. Third on my list is Transformers.
I got Transformers.
Okay. All right. I
You
have
know why too?
Transformers third on my list. Go ahead.
Cause Transformers got so many, it spawned so many spinoffs. Like
Yep. Yep. And not even just spinoffs and knockoffs and wannabes and
yeah,
Transformers is the OG.
yeah,
And I know there might be some people. Oh, I grew up with kids that like Voltron more than Transformers, and I wondered why. Why do you like Voltron more than Transformers? What? How is GI Joe above Transformers? Now,
oh,
the one that I know some people to say that didn't make my list that I know people of my age are saying, why isn't Thundercats on your list? But Thundercats, again, it's another one that just barely missed the cut for me. All right, now
I, I,
I'm gonna
I had to
reveal.
do that same thing with Thundercats, yo.
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
to.
Now
Voltron too.
Voltron too, yeah.
Voltron is that
And,
shit.
and, and it was and it was GI Joe. Like I even had GI Joe under consideration for a couple of seconds. Like, but then it was like, no, wait, Transformers is Transformers belongs on that list. Now, the last spot was the hardest spot for me. It was the hardest spot for me because I started thinking about the days when I was, still going to school and Disney had their block of shows that came on from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And you had classics like Goof Troop and Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles, right?
Yeah.
And one of my personal favorites, even though I know a lot of people may not have been into it, one of my personal favorites was Pepper Ann, right?
Nah.
Recess. Listen, you had Recess. You had the Weekenders. There were a lot of good cartoons in the mid to late 90s. But I went 90s with my last spot. And my last spot went to Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond?
Batman Beyond got my last spot because Batman Beyond, I saw a cartoon shut down barbershops. Okay? If you were in the barbershop when Batman Beyond was on, you got your hair cut during the commercials because nobody wanted to make any noise. You either got there early enough to get your hair cut before Batman Beyond came on and then you went home and watched it, or you sat there and watched it with everybody.
Yeah, I can feel that. I mean, I would have thought that you'd have been with Batman, that Batman series. What was it called? Dang, what did they call Batman back then? I just knew it as Batman. The one that came on in that same block as Superman after school.
Yeah, it was just Batman the animated series.
Batman, yeah, just Batman animated series.
Yeah.
That's what it was called.
Yep.
It wasn't called like they got newer ones like The Brave and the Bold and something else.
No, it was just Batman
I think
animated
it
series.
was just Batman. I
hmm
thought you'd have went
And
with
you know
that
what?
over.
And you know what? And see, and I know I messed up because I know I didn't mention one. I didn't mention one that I barely have Batman Beyond over. X-Men.
But that's mine. Mine's is X Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what it literally came down to a legitimate coin flip.
nah,
It was
I
either
got
going to be X-Men or Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond won the coin toss.
X Men. X
All
Men.
right. Listen,
And I was
we
tempted
going
to put Spider Man. I was tempted to put Spider Man because
Spider-Man too. Yep.
I'm a big time
It
Spider
was
Man.
listen, it was close. It was close. A lot of these were really tight. So I just wanted to have some variety on it.
Yeah, you know what made me choose X Men over Spider Man, even though I love Spider Man over the X Men, is the fact
What's
that they
that?
brought back X Men on
Mm-hmm.
Disney Plus.
Yep.
They're continuing where X Men left off in the show, and it's
Yep.
been fire.
Yep.
So I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm definitely gonna get back into that, man. But this was a like that was a good one. Like a lot of stuff on Twitter don't usually catch my attention, but that one did. And like I
yeah,
said, we're gonna have the 50 greatest movies. One thing I will say, uh, I'm gonna probably reveal one right now that's gonna make the list. That's The Godfather,
I
and
mean,
I'm coupling both of those in as one. I'm not gonna go Godfather 1, Godfather 2. No, both of those is gonna take one slot because
I understand that.
it's like a continuation.
Yeah, it didn't even end.
All right, well, listen, let's
You
get into
know,
our awards. Go ahead.
real quick though, y'all gotta get in on anime, man. I've been trying for the
I
past 2 years.
I
I
know,
even put
man.
you on to a basketball anime, and just
I know.
for yo, I'm telling you, I watched this anime. It's called Blue Lock, and it's about
hmm
soccer. Telling you, man, like I never thought I'd be so interested in fucking soccer
Yeah.
than watching this anime. Like it's crucial,
hmm
man. You gotta get into it. It's a whole
All right.
different thing. And right now, it's ironic because I'm wearing Kaiju #8 shirt,
hmm
and that's one of the popping animes right now. It's new, and it's like that. It's got potential.
Listen, man, I gotta get more hours in a day, man. I need
I
more
know it's
hours
hard
in a
when
day.
you watching football and baseball and when basketball's
hmm
in
Yep.
and then you got to go to work. Then you got to deal with kids.
Yep.
You got
Yep. And I'm coaching, so it's
and
like,
you
yeah,
coaching.
I like, and here's the thing: if John was on here, I would tell him like, yo, I haven't really had a chance to get into watching wrestling because I
Oh,
haven't had the time. And by the
I forgot
time
about that.
it's
Like,
really going, I'm asleep.
yeah,
So I gotta catch up on that too. But let's get into our awards for the week. And John's not here, so I'm gonna start things off with dumbass of the week. Now, I don't really want to do political on the show, and it's not gonna make the dumbass of the list. But if I was a presidential candidate staring into the camera and yelling, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, would easily make this list. Okay. I have not seen any politician in my life ever come so unglued and say something like that I laughed so hard I damn near had an asthma attack because it just are you are you are you kidding me? There was a day and age where anybody that says that they are automatically disqualified from the conversation.
yeah,
And I, it doesn't make any damn sense. Now, unfortunately, the reality behind that is it's caused a big firestorm, and now we got bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio. Listen, I'm not going to get into it. It wasn't fun. Like looking back on it now, it wasn't funny. It was serious. Like it's real world consequences to people saying shit like that. But I'm gonna
yeah,
sit that over here. Uh,
yeah.
my dumb ass of the week is Florida State. Here's a team that was supposed to make a playoff run, and they are 0-3 after they lost to Memphis.
They're cooked.
Memphis.
They're cooked.
Florida State can't beat Memphis. It's over. It's
So
over. Forget a playoff run. I don't even think they're going to make a bowl game at this rate.
hell
Oh,
no, they ain't
and
making no bowl.
And my
What bowl
extra
could they be
dumbass,
in?
one of them small, the Pop Tarts bowl, one of them bowls, man. I don't know. Uh, Also on my list for dumbass of the week is Notre Dame for running up the score on Purdue today, 66-7. Like, come on, dude. Like, y'all stink. Y'all stink. Now y'all gonna run up the score on Purdue. But y'all couldn't beat Northern Illinois at home. Now you want to run up the score on Purdue? Solid.
Is Northern Illinois is NIU?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's why they ranked, huh?
All right, who's your person of the week?
You know,
Who you
Uncle
got?
Shay. Shannon Sharp.
Oh man, he's a damn genius. He's a genius, yo.
Yo, the way he flipped what could have been a disaster into filet mignon.
Marketing. Marketing. Like, are you kidding me?
Yo,
The
they couldn't
very
even
next
fire
day.
him. They couldn't even fire him. You know Disney / what ESPN is under now will bang you quick.
Yep. Paul
Can't even
Pierce.
do it. Can't even do it because the ratings gonna go to the roof next time he on the show.
And he turned it into an advertisement, yo. He turned it into an advertisement. I'm not going to bring up the product on air because they ain't paying me. But like, are you kidding me? The very next day, you have commercials promoting this product.
They jumped on that quick.
I guess it works. I mean,
hey,
I'll have to take his word for it. Listen,
I guess we'll get there. We'll get there one day down the line.
One day down the line, there we'll know all about that. So we'll be thanking Uncle Shay for pointing us in the right direction. My one to watch this week is Bel Air season 3. If you haven't seen the first 2 seasons, I suggest you sit down and watch it. Third season off to a really good start. I'm about halfway through it. I'll probably pick up on that once we get off the air. Maybe watch a little college football on my have college football on my phone, Bel Air on the TV. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out.
All
right, let's get to these.
Right?
No, the whole thing is up.
Oh, it's already up? All right, cool.
Whole season is up. All right, well, let's talk about these picks this week. You and John went 2-1 last week. I went 1-2 because my upset pick, of which we will not speak of. So let's get this week started right.
Let's talk about that.
No, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about our lock pick for the week. Who's your lock pick this week?
Lions over Bucks.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going with the Ravens over the Raiders. My 50-50, I'm taking the Texans over the Bears.
50-50? They be underestimating my son, man. I swear. That's all right. I'm telling my boy to get him. Put something extra in that sauce. The nastiest game that's going to be played this week, man. The absolute nastiest. Because we got to sit here and have this on our television. Instead of a real football game, man. I got the Commanders over the Giants.
Ooh. Yeah, and I would like to say to the Giants, thank you. We appreciate the fact that y'all were stupid enough to let Saquon Barkley walk and y'all paying Danny Dimes $40 million. Appreciate you. Thank you. What's your upset pick this week?
Panthers over Chargers.
Oh man, you did it. So I didn't do it. You did it.
Hey, I had to.
All right. Listen, I can't really explain this one, but I know they're at home, and I know everybody's expecting their season to go off the rails. I got the Packers over the Colts.
I knew you was gonna do that, bro.
I got the Packers over the Colts. Now, this may end up being a pretty damn good game, but I'm not too. See, I wasn't too sure on it because I was looking for upsets. I didn't really see something that I would say is like. I don't think the Cardinals beating the Rams would be an upset, especially since the line is even. So I looked at who was favored, and I see that the Colts are like 3.5 to 5 point favorites over the Packers, even though the Packers are at home. So I'm going with the Packers this week.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I actually did a little power rankings video for my other podcast for the Straight Shooters. I did an NFL power ranking, so I'm gonna be trying to do that every week, and I'm trying to do some post game analysis for different games. And I also want to do that for this brand too. So be on the lookout for that.
All right, and listen. Shout out to my 11U Parkside Saints. We won our first game of the season last week. I coached the offensive line. We had a pretty dominant game up front. We'll be taking on the North Philly Blackhawks in our next game. Now, this was a rescheduled game because our original game got canceled. This is going to be a tough one. This is one of the top organizations in the city. And this is going to be a real good test for our kids. So hopefully we come back on the air. We're 2-0 and not 1-1.
Right.
All right, John, send them picks in. Hopefully we get you on the show next week. All right, that's it. We done. We out of here. Catch y'all next week.
All right. Peace.